yeah, it's just kind of like just some kind of musings about stuff, which may or may not be entertaining. I'll throw that on with like character actors.
Right.
But I guess we should start the show. That sounds like a showy type topic.
Welcome to the Pixel Response Podcast.
All right, welcome back to Pixel Response Podcast. I am Paul, and with me is Nathan.
As always, regular show.
As always.
Yeah.
The most regular. I'm wondering if people are thinking last week was a one-off.
They wouldn't be wrong to feel that way. I've certainly been inconsistent in my presence on the internet.
But I mean, you are technically on the internet. It's just you are away from social media stuff.
Primarily, yeah. Like I'm still on Facebook, but I've silenced like 142 out of the 148 people on there or something, essentially. Like, it's just like, I don't care about most of what you're saying, but I don't want to commit a social crime by saying, I don't even want to ever see you again, kind of thing, which I feel is implied by the unfriending.
Right.
So, like, there's horror movies about unfriending, so I don't want to do that.
That movie is ridiculous, by the way. Anyway.
I haven't watched it. There's only one? I think there might be more.
There's one specifically that I watched where it's all done through a Skype window.
Oh, okay. Kind of like that one short film in VHS.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember what it's called. I think it's just called Unfriended, actually.
Okay.
But, yeah, man, if you ever get the chance, watch it, because it does, like, 3 things pretty funny and good. Mm-hmm. Everything else is just kind of like, oh, man, this is ridiculous. But, like, there's, like, 2 or 3 parts that I was legitimately like, that is some horror-ass horror right there. That's pretty good.
That's good modern horror.
No, not even modern horror. It's just, like, that's good, like, weird
Basics
wave to
suspense.
Kill somebody.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. But anyway,
Unfriended.
But yeah, so last week wasn't really a one-off, but like
kind of catching up, like trying to think through things that have happened.
Yeah. So I figure this week will probably be a bit shorter in that regard, since there isn't like a pile of stuff to just chat about like there was. Yeah,
I mean, I have detailed journals of all those days, so I could dig through. But if it didn't come to mind, I'm considering that the filter for like, is it worth really bringing up?
Right. I'll go ahead and say publicly and to you right now that it's okay if you unfriend me or mute me or whatever, because I barely use Facebook as it is. I just use it for the top-down group. So
I think that has kept you safe, though, because you're not constantly saying something about any recent news issue or whatever, so I don't feel bombarded at all. It's just kind of... I'll see, like, the top-down planning stuff happening because I created that group, so I don't think I can be kicked out.
Right.
So I just kind of quietly they're doing it on Friday this week. Okay, cool.
Well, I guess, like, spoiler alert, they're doing it Friday. I'm not going to be there.
Yeah. But other than
knew that, so whatever.
You agreeing or going, nope, that won't work at all. That's all I really see for your weekly Facebook activity, so it's fine. The stuff that was, like, getting me down was just kind of politics and religion and those topics. Like, just kind of, why is this here? Like, it felt like the worst dinner party ever, like, all the time. Yeah. Where it's just awkward conversations happening, and it's just like, I kind of want to weigh in on this, but I just want to eat my turkey. Like, I don't really care, but yeah.
Like, I'm looking at my Facebook feed right now to actually see what I've done. The last one I did was I shared a post from July 11th where some, like, restaurant has, like, Pokemon Go player, then it's, like, telling what the discount is depending what team you are.
Mm.
That was the last thing I did.
I guess West Ed has gotten way into Pokemon Go. Like, Brittany was there last week, and they have, like, signs set up that say, this is a Pokestop. Like,
weird.
Pokemon YEG or something. Like, okay, cool.
Can I say something controversial about Pokemon Go?
Absolutely. I guess. Yeah.
So you know the changes they've made recently or whatever, where they took away the like Poke Tracker. So like,
yeah,
I like that design better because I like the idea of like I'm walking around or just like going somewhere, and then a Pokemon was in this bush. So like he's here now. Like
he's nearby.
I like that idea more than like saying, well, this Pokemon's nearby, so you should walk around for 20 minutes finding him.
See, I was kind of doing it that way anyway. It was just kind of, as we walked around, it would just kind of happen. I was never like, other than that one time when we were trying to find a Psyduck specifically, we weren't really like on the hunt. So I'm wondering if that's really just a byproduct of all the weird trespassing belly aching that's been happening. Because
of just people walking around in like a kilometer radius looking for one Pokemon rather than them just stumbling on it.
Sure. Well, or just kind of people frequenting areas that were formerly not frequented, so people are getting weird about it. Like, there's like, why are all these damn teens near my house? I don't like it. I'm suing Niantic. Like, there was a news story in the Sun today about an Alberta woman who was like freaking out. They're like, they're flying drones over my house. It's just like, why would they be doing that? Like, they don't need to do that. They just need to be sort of nearby, and they might catch that Dragonite. They can't catch those just out in the wild, can you? Just sitting around.
I don't actually know.
Pidgeot. I'll just say that because I don't have one yet, but I'm a low level. So.
Wait, you don't have a Pidgeot?
No, I'm like level 6.
Do you not find many Pidgeys?
Not. I mean, that's definitely the case when we're going somewhere and I'm in the passenger seat hunting around. Like, Pidgeys are all over the place, but nearby, it's Weedles. There's a lot of Weedles.
There's a lot of Weedles. The reason I ask is because, like, maybe it's just the area I'm in. Like, the first 2 nights that I had the app, I was able to evolve a Pidgeot from a Pidgey because they're everywhere here.
You know, I might be able to evolve one myself. I just mean, like, finding one in the wild.
Oh, yeah,
like,
I've never found a Pidgeot hanging around. I've seen Pidgeotos everywhere, though, as well.
Okay. Maybe I got the silhouette wrong. Anyway, just them kind of feeling shy about coaxing people deeper into neighborhoods and stuff. Like, maybe they're trying to shy away from that because there's been a lot of blowback from the public at large. I don't know. Like, I saw that now there's grass and stuff kind of on the Pokemon screen. It's just like, this guy's been spotted nearby. Like, it's a little more vague about their whereabouts. So I guess that's kind of... So you don't like that they took away that tracker? You were actively using it, kind of thing.
The tracker? No, I wasn't using the tracker at all.
Oh, okay.
I would just, like, anytime I was somewhere and just, like, not doing anything, I would whip out the phone, start it up, and just see if there was anything nearby.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was doing. So what is it
I'm not like power gaming. No, okay. I was saying I like this change, kind of.
Oh, okay. So the outrage is the thing you're kind of disagreeing with. Cause I don't know what you guys were doing anyway.
That's the thing is that, like, well, this is another problem I have now, is that there's so many people that were power gaming it where they're just like, man, I got to get to, like, level 20, like, in the first weekend. So now, anytime I see gyms, they're just, like, unobtainable to me now. Like, the highest I used to see was, like, a 1,600, maybe an 1,800, but now they're, like, all, like, 2,200 up, and it's stupid. Like, it's not even worth my time to bother anymore.
I think we still, well, that's the thing. I've kind of, since I've started playing on my own, I haven't seen a lot of gym stuff, because we were using Brittany's roster, which is a lot better than mine.
Oh, okay. Right, because you probably didn't have your phone for a while, right?
Yeah, I hadn't switched over yet to the iPhone again. So it was a lot of 1,600 kind of like approachable stuff, fights she could win.
Yeah, like 1,600 is the top end of like doable.
Okay, like
for me.
Oh wait, I was about to say, oh no, the one near me is like 1,000, but it's actually getting into 2,500 at the top.
Yeah, That's what I mean. It's actually
Yeah.
impossible now unless you also power game.
Yeah, this Charizard's 2000. Okay. I guess it's gotten unobtainable for Brittany too. That's too bad. But, oh well, it's AR weirdness, and it's still going on in the background.
It was bound to happen. So many people being, obsessed with it for weeks on weeks now.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna all level up. I don't know if is there just weird public disdain? One of our coworkers just seemed really weird about it. Just yeah, another idiot got hit by a train or something, just kind of being snarky about it. It's okay, I don't know. It's kids going outside. I hadn't encountered that in public space. Being cynical about it.
I know I've gone on record before talking about some of our coworkers, not by name, of course, but
yeah, that's tactless.
We work with a bunch of people that are part of a generation that no longer exists. People that are what do you do in your spare time? Oh, you should probably just go out with your friends and drive around and party.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, we used to do so much drinking, and we used to go from work right to the bar and be out all weekend. No, that's not life anymore. That's actually a super unhealthy thing to do too, by the way.
That's old sitcoms. It's not happening in the modern space as much. Yeah.
All these kids with their damn TVs. What are you talking about, man? Calm down. You watch movies. You like movies.
Yeah,
we
all
talk
the
about
time.
movies all the time, so why are you freaking out?
Yeah, I don't know. But, oh well. I guess you just get in kind of whatever echo chamber you're in, and that's just how you perceive normalcy or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how big things are in terms of the main thing I've been doing the last 40 hours has been that hot new video game that may or may not be conquering the charts and stuff right now. I don't know. I just know video game websites are talking about it a lot.
Go ahead and say the name, and then I'll tell you something that happened today that I thought was kind of funny.
Okay, so No Man's Sky came out on the PlayStation 4 and is about to come out on PC.
Tomorrow.
I got it right away.
Yeah.
And that does seem to be a thing a lot of people are talking about on forums and streaming and all this kind of stuff. But what was it you were going to say about the game?
Okay, so one Jim Sterling.
Yeah, that British guy. He used to be on Destructoid. His humorous take on things really amused me when I played Limbo over and over again. So
sure.
It was a while ago. But
I mean, he still ostensibly does the same thing. He does his own. He's completely solo now.
Yeah.
So,
does he podcast extensively though, or is it all?
There is a
videos?
Jimquisition podcast, yeah, but he does a bunch of YouTube stuff, and he still writes for his own stuff under Jimquisition now.
Yeah.
So, he's completely free from companies kind of taking over his writing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So his take on No Man's Sky was, and this is pretty much what I thought, by the way, so don't get mad at me, this is don't shoot the messenger sort of. But his take is that it's one of those survival games where you collect stuff and you craft blah 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 sort of thing. So if you don't play a lot of those, it's probably right up your alley, but he does, so he got super bored of the monotony in it. And people got so pissed off by him saying this, basically, that they took down his site.
DDoSed him or something?
Yeah, they took down his site for the morning or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So the weird thing is that, that's kind of what I want from this, is I want a mindless thing where I'm let's be honest here. The reason why I'm going to get this game is not for the gameplay loop, but mainly because, every screenshot of locations I've seen in it are fucking gorgeous, and I just want that while I'm listening to a podcast or something.
Yeah. Okay. Your expectations seem in line with what the game is capable of providing. Cause their stated goal of we really wanted this to just kind of capture that magic of pulpy sci-fi book covers.
Yeah.
You nailed it. There's so many moments where I'm just kind of standing on some weird like alien temple or something, and there's the multiple moons in the sky, but the sky's kind of purple or something, and it just looks crazy.
Yeah,
Like I just
that's
kind
what
of
I
stop
want.
and just go, wow, yeah, awesome.
So
And
like,
then resume kind of collecting minerals or whatever to
yeah.
get that next upgrade. Which,
Yeah, so his take on it basically is that the different planets and stuff are like amazing looking and cool and stuff like that, but it's kind of bogged down by like the fact that I'm doing the same thing on every planet. So like for him, it's literally the gameplay loop is not interesting to him because he's played these games before. And honestly, the way I read it, it just seemed like kind of like a consumer, like this is what you're getting into sort of thing. Cause it didn't seem like he hated it. He just said that for him, it was boring.
Sure. Like, I don't know what other games would fit into the exact same mold, but like Rust is in my mind right now. Is that a resource gathering?
Yeah. I mean, there's like 7 Days to Die, Rust, what's that? Reign of Kings. I mean, DayZ to a certain extent. Like, there's a bunch of like Starbound, like literally Starbound, where you travel to different planets to get different resources and like upgrade stuff. Like, yeah, these games have existed for a long time, and I'm sure as somebody who like job it is to critique them, he's just saying this is another one of those, basically. And like that pissed off a lot of people to attack his site. So there you go.
All right. I guess I don't know. Like, I'm not as, it's kind of a weird thing with people who have to cover stuff. Like, they need to play so many of these games. Kind of the same way, like, people were fatigued by Far Cry Primal. Cause it's like, well, I've already played like 2 games exactly like this before in the last couple of years. So this one's no better or worse. And I'm kind of tired of it. Like, that seemed to be kind of the consensus. Whereas it's just like, yeah, I didn't even play those and I wanted to be a caveman. This is kind of, well, I didn't even play those, and I want to be an astronaut in a 50s sci-fi movie. So this is
that's fun
because I haven't touched anything like it ever. So it's, I'll get this kind of thing here. And as far as I know, like the vast kind of procedurally generated universes and different solar systems and all that kind of stuff, like I don't know that I've heard of anything doing something quite that big in terms of like areas you could go before. I can't think of anything, but I also haven't been playing stuff like this, so I don't know if some of these other survival games just kind of remix a planet or something. Like, I don't know. This seems kind of like things do boil down into kind of broad categories and things that you're doing on every planet, regardless of like, well, this is a totally different galaxy or a totally different solar system, and this planet's totally different. It's raining acid here. But you're still getting carbon, you're still getting iron, you're still looking for zinc or whatever. Like, you're still kind of harvesting in much the same way. Just on this one, the mushrooms are green. Ooh. But I don't know. There's still a distinct kind of visual to it. Like, if you're, I don't know, I'm having a bit of trouble with like just being compulsive about collecting stuff, because I know in the back of my mind it's totally pointless in this game because every planet has all these things on them. So don't get too hung up on it. But I just kind of want to clear a checklist completely on one planet. And then I'll just be like, okay, I know what that's like. Moving on. And then I'll resume my hunt, like, or my travels, I guess, to different places. But how much do you want to know about the basic structure? Or do you want to just find out yourself on Friday kind of thing?
Oh, no, I don't care. I'm not even going to be here until Sunday, remember? So like Friday and Saturday are out for me.
Okay. There's maybe a little more narrative direction than I would have thought, but I guess there's kind of like, what are the expectations for this game? Should there be a lot of story or should there be no story? Like, with just the way it was pitched as it's procedurally generated, I thought there'd be kind of nothing. Like, it's just, you have a spaceship. There's presumably some kind of economy of minerals and things for you to trade in order to get upgrades for your spaceship or build them. That's there, but there's also kind of just a well-established, like, a civilization of some kind has at least touched all of these planets. So there'd be like kind of abandoned outposts and little like AI run shacks. And then occasionally like an alien dude is set up at some sort of spaceport or something on these planets. So it's not like you discovered this planet for the first time. It was a barren planet. nothing has ever been here. Like, it seems more like you're discovering it for humanity. So you get to kind of, like, you can rename stuff as you like. That I wasn't sure. Like, when I first loaded up the game, I was kind of disappointed because everything had a placeholder name. And I was like, oh, I guess they don't want you putting in stupid stuff and uploading it as being the name of this planet now. But you totally can. It wasn't immediately apparent. Because everything was already labeled. So just kind of, if you don't like that name, which is kind of just some weird unintelligible string of like consonants, you can change it into whatever you want. So yeah, there's a solar system named Japan. Coolest planet is Osaka. And I plan to name all those plants and animals after things I care about and then move on. Huh. And maybe no one will ever see it because there's quintillions of planets or whatever, but you can kind of put your thumbprint on stuff a little bit more. And, yeah, I don't know. It's just got an aesthetic and a general kind of, I've always wanted something like this in terms of just, I own my own spaceship. I'm flying around, just going to different places.
I'm just going to look at new planets sort of thing. See what's going on over there.
Just an astronaut fantasy or something. Like, it's pretty cool on that front. And just how seamless they kind of handle dropping in and out of atmospheres and kind of zooming around to different parts of the solar systems you're in and stuff. It's pretty cool. So,
I mean, it's a Christopher Columbus simulator, really. Just discovering new lands and like being like, well, this isn't what I expected. I guess this is India.
Yeah.
Those must be Indians.
Unless I'm missing something, like, because it's all new stuff you're seeing primarily, like when you go somewhere, there's no map kind of system. So you can get lost in weird ways. Like, I got trapped in some caves for a long time. And I was just like, I hope there's a way out of these caves. I don't know. Like, I'm just walking around in circles.
Can you craft like torches or something?
You don't really need to for just seeing. Everything's kind of luminous, it seems.
No, I meant more like stick them in the ground so you don't get lost, so you know your way back to your ship or something. Like, do you have a thing that you can make a like bread trail?
There's some means of setting waypoints, I think, actually. So maybe I've just been not doing that especially well.
Gotcha.
Because again, I'm not super familiar with the genre, so I'll have to think about that more when I approach a cave system. Maybe that would be a real smart thing to do, is to plant some flags as I go in order to find my way back out.
Yeah.
That might aid in finding a few kind of elusive species or whatever. Like, I'm kind of hesitant criticizing any component of the game. I will say I haven't been doing well in combat, but I partially think that's my fault for never really speccing in that direction. Like, I have a bunch of upgrades that I could make combat-centric upgrades. I just don't want to take up my slots that way because I'm just kind of going on loot runs all the time. So whenever space combat has happened, it's just like, I gotta get the hell out of here because they're gonna blow me up. And like, it's not a fight, it's a chase across space to get away from that. So, or like similar if I find some hostile animals or something, it's just kind of, my gun is primarily a mining, like a drill. So this is not good at this, but I don't want to switch menus and put bullets in here and all this kind of stuff right now. So that side of the game, I just feel like I've been coming up kind of short. I'm going to say it's probably not like, oh, this is as good, if not better than anything Bungie's ever done or something in terms of first person shooting. Like, no, but it has this kind of grand planet interloper kind of thing going on that I haven't seen anywhere. So it's similar where like you have to give Bethesda a lot of leeway because it's like, well, it's kind of broken, but it's so big, I don't care. I feel I'm sort of doing that with this game. Like, that's the spirit I'm enjoying it in, is just kind of, yeah, that was kind of weird, but I'm fine with that. Like, this is sort of unprecedented for me, so there's probably jank all over the place. Like, my ship clipped through this mountain, whatever. Like, that's gonna happen. So, I haven't had any, like, huge, it crashed or I lost save or anything. There was one instance where I feel like the game kind of just will occasionally give you you have one chance at this kind of thing. Like, almost like Mass Effect when it's like you fail to unlock a locker or something like that. It's just like, nope, you didn't hack that right. And now, oh well, like you'll never get whatever was here. There's that can happen. There was also a weird time where I knew an alien race pretty well. So they were just like, hey, here's a cool new gun. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. I was really getting tired of the default like starter pistol thing. This is fantastic. Oh man, look at that. And I was comparing them and stuff. This is so great. Press circle and like walked around and then later checked my menu and I was like, what the hell? Like, where's that gun? I hadn't accepted the gun. I just looked at it.
Oh, wow.
You can never talk to that guy about that gun ever again, apparently. Like, you've just spurned his gift or something. So it's just like, oh, shit. That looked really cool. I bet that would have been useful. And then just like, now I know I can screw up that way.
I kind of like having things that are like, no, you fucked up. You should have you should have done this differently if you wanted this. Like,
you should have read a little more closely what it was saying or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm a big fan of that sort of thing.
Yeah, I took that responsibility. I missed out on that. So when I eventually got a better weapon, like 10 hours later, it was like, all right, now I feel like I've hit the next, broken through that crust or whatever on this end of the game. So cool.
That's actually why in Life is Strange I never rewound. Like, unless I had to for like a puzzle or a thing.
Oh, okay.
Like, I never saw other dialogue options. I just stuck with them.
Oh, okay. Was it like being able to satiate some of that curiosity was my favorite thing about them giving you that. So, like, yeah.
Understandable.
Okay. But if you're like, real life doesn't have time travel, that's silly.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It was weird. I kind of was like, I'm not going to second guess myself. Like, this is the way I want it to go and I want to see it play out. And then it played out a way and then people are like, oh, this happened and stuff. So I was able to have those conversations a little more freely of not being like, it wasn't like, hey, Sean, did you get this, or this to happen? It was like, this happened in my game. Then he said, oh, this happened in my game. And then it was kind of like a discovery moment rather than like us both just rewinding to see every option.
Okay. Like, just
it was kind of cool
knowing that could happen kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprise. It's good. It's a good feeling.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's an okay thing. Also, I just didn't feel like I had the time to, like, the 2 hours or so an episode for that game specifically was nice for me. That was like, I get home from work, I'm tired, but like, I'm going to play through this. All right, cool. Now it's like time to go to bed or whatever. Like, I didn't want to prolong that by maybe half an hour or an hour. I was just like, no.
Kind of poking around at the edges of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of see it through as like a series or something.
Yeah.
Like a movie.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. I guess, like, in terms of, like, community, like, what's happening with your galaxy or whatever, like, I've kind of deliberately been avoiding stuff like that because I just don't want to know.
Right.
Like, it's kind of just...
You kind of don't care, right? Like...
Sort of, but also, like, some of the stuff that seems to be being said is like, well, that won't help my experience at all. Like, it was, like, some volatile title on Polygon that was just like, man, this exploit will totally ruin the game. It's like, okay, I don't want to know about that exploit then. I won't read this article. Like, right. I don't. Like, why would I ever do that? Why'd you publish this?
It's like it's like the opposite of clickbait for you.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, well, that sounds terrible. Why would I want to hear how that happened? So,
yeah,
don't worry about it. Like, I guess, like, some people might be complaining about the starting planet they're on. Like, the one impression piece I did read did say something about, like, yeah, I didn't really get to take off for, like, 10 hours. And it's just like, how the hell did it take you that long? Like, it took 3 hours at most, you know? Like, but it might just be, oh, the frequency of this one element you need is higher on this planet. Like, I did have that sort of happen later when I wanted to switch spaceships. Like, I found another crashed spaceship and had to fix that one. It was just like, there's no zinc anywhere. Like, anywhere. And I need it to fix this engine. So, crap. And it was just kind of this, like, big, like, circle of just exploring all over the place before realizing, oh, wait, I had just enough in my old ship's inventory. I should just accept ownership of that ship again, take that, accept ownership of the other ship, put it in there, fix the engine. Oh crap, I need fuel for this thing, and there also isn't any of that, and I also have some more in my... It was really dumb. It was just like, switch, but like walking across the parking lot to the new car you're gonna have, opening it. Like, it was dumb. It was like,
Is there
little
not a
clunky.
way to, like, in the game, make, like, a list or something?
There is, like, when you're first accepting it, it brings up both ships' inventories, and you can kind of move stuff you want. So I could have just moved all the correct stuff to fix it, and then left, like, the loot I had in the old ship until later kind of thing, and dealt with the ship first.
Is there no reason to just, like, move... Like, if you have old ship, we'll call it A, new ship is B, why wouldn't I just transfer all from A to B? I
do, but the thing is, like, it's like, the main reason I've been upgrading to different ships is like, well, this one has more slots, so this is a better ship. I want this ship. Thing is, it might also have a bunch of, like, weapon upgrades and stuff installed right now that you can get rid of, but you need to repair them first. So they're sort of taking up that ship's potential inventory when you find it. So it's like, well, I have 11 things I want to take with me. There are more than enough slots in here, but there's only 7 available right now. So I need to kind of make some tough choices about the last 4 things, or just kind of decide I don't want those elements or whatever. There's been a lot of inventory management happening. I'm wondering if that's a thing, like, PC gamers will just mod out of the game immediately and just be like, fuck that, I just want to explore. Like, just let me gather everything I want, like, day one kind of thing. Like, I could see that being a thing. So, like, people might have a completely different experience. It is a bit taxing because you don't know the potential of some of the objects you're finding and the items you're finding. And who knows if you're going to find one again. So there's sort of that horde mentality is clashing a bit with what the game lets you have. But when you do get more slots, it's kind of this, like, yay, this is a great upgrade. This is good times. So I don't know. I'm assuming someone is complaining about inventory stuff in relation to this game. But
yeah,
that's kind of how Fallout and all that stuff was too. So kind of breaking that compulsion to grab everything. I do kind of like that the Souls games don't seem to really punish you for that. You can just have tons of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how's that
been?
I'm trying to remember where I was at last time. I'm kind of still...
You finished Blighttown.
Post Blighttown, I'm kind of still trying to figure out where I really want to focus my energies.
It took a backseat to No Man's Sky and work, I'm guessing, this week.
When I got the game, yeah. Like, yeah. I haven't loaded up... Like, I did 2 or 3 more times since last week, but not a big session since Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah, I still fully intend to, like, continue to poke at that game. I was happy when I did pick it up again after a couple week break, how easy it was to just get back in the flow of it. I was worried I would forget how it works or something. But it's like, no, you've learned these lessons for real because the game forced you to. So, you know, that comfort level was still there. There's these crazy lizard men and, like, booby traps. That's kind of the area I feel like I'm supposed to go to because it seems manageable.
Sure. You should do it then.
Valley of the Drakes, and those things were killing me or they weren't killing me, but it was like that battle with this one scrub enemy was really hard, and there's like 4 more over there, so I'm just gonna leave. Like, I can't do this here.
You noped. You're like, nope.
Yeah, I did. But I found a cool elevator down to that area, so it was just kind of, okay, there's a way in here now that isn't find this weird alternate path via Blighttown's big wheel thing. Like, I know I found it that way once when I was trying to find a shortcut back to the surface or whatever, when I had half health because of that curse. So yeah, I'm still kind of just generally leveling up stuff, upgrading things, talking to that forge guy a lot and giving him just giving him embers and things for him to use. Does he tell you when he's done constructing stuff, or is there a certain amount of time that passes, or do you know how that works?
I don't actually remember.
Okay. Like,
I have a feeling. Sorry?
He'll just periodically kind of be like, that thing you have in your inventory is really great. If you give me that, I can make something. It's like, okay. And I've done that a couple times now. It's just like, do you say, hey, thanks, I built a cool new thing out of that, or is it just kind of quietly in the store inventory now?
Oh, yeah, I don't actually know. I have no idea.
Okay. I also, I may have too many souls. Like, I got Dark Souls 2 and Demon Souls showed up in the mail. It's just like, yeah, I got hundreds of hours of dungeon crawling at my fingertips if I want.
You have souls for days.
I do.
You still have your save from Demon Souls?
I would think it would still work. It's for the PS, like the downloaded version, but it would find it, right? If I pop a disc in there.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, I really just have the disc as a means of kind of, I own this game. I'm not
Right.
subscribed to this game via PS Plus. I have it. It's right here.
Right. But it is downloaded.
Yes.
Okay.
Right, it is, yeah.
Okay.
I'm also, that's the thing, I'm also curious about the Yakuza games, because they released Yakuza 5 as a PS Plus title. So just like, oh, cool, I was going to buy that anyway. This is great. But I'm told that's a big commitment too. So too many games, not enough time kind of thing. And yeah, No Man's Sky, though, has been like some of the longest sessions I've done in a long time of just like being totally pulled into the activity. Like I almost felt like, you know, those stories of just Korean man found dead at desk because wow kind of thing. I was getting a little worried about that. It's just like, I haven't slept. I just kind of kept drinking coffee. I should probably go lie down.
You're chasing that purple dragon.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was getting away from me a bit there. But it was kind of fun to have that happen again because it's not that frequent. The last time I really remember, like, this is all I care about right now was Grand Theft Auto 5, but that game ends. Like,
yeah,
it's like, well, that was crazy 50 hours, but now it's over. This is like, apparently this universe is infinite, so it's kind of just how many cool spaceships and upgrades do you want? And I think I want all of it because I love sci-fi. So
right,
this is dangerous.
It's dangerous territory.
Like, you stop at a spaceport and you're just like, oh, dude, that almost looks like a giant space RV, like it's Spaceballs or something. I want to buy that. It's 4 million units. Okay, I got to save up 4 million units now. This is awesome. Like, just kind of always new things that you want.
Always a new goal that you set yourself.
Yep.
So there's that.
And,
that's good.
But I guess I'm assuming just like all the podcasts this week are going to be talking about No Man's Sky. So maybe we should move on. Like, I haven't heard it yet. Like, I haven't heard any podcast about games that's just kind of like, yeah, I played a lot of that. So it's all hot business right now. But if someone has a regular lineup of video game podcasts, it's all going to sound pretty samey. So,
they do.
I don't know. Yeah. Did you watch Star Trek or no?
No.
Okay.
Haven't found the time to.
I won't voice the thing then. I have like a thing I feel about that movie that I would kind of want to.
Is it like super spoilery?
I guess it doesn't really have to be because I can kind of make it more so about the first movie. Like,
okay.
If you recall, in the first like J.J. Abrams 2009 Star Trek reboot, young Captain Kirk is driving along in his car listening to the Beastie Boys.
Sure. Yeah.
And something about that just seems like so borderline anachronistic to me because I know there's a lyric in Intergalactic about Mr. Spock. So how does the universe address this without it kind of...
Oh, are you talking about how they address how Leonard Nimoy died in real life?
No, but
okay.
Not really, except there's sort of kind of some acknowledgement of real world pop culture things outside of like Star Trek's influence, or kind of, you can see like the legacy of the show being treated as like, oh, well, that's the legacy of this alternate universe's version of ourselves and their adventures, which I don't know why you'd know much about that, but whatever. But no, it's more just kind of, I don't know, like something about just paradoxes or anachronisms or something where they're kind of like really hanging their hat on it. Like, it's not subtle. It's like, no, the Beastie Boys are present in this universe. They existed. So what is this universe's answer to, wait, why is there a song about Mr. Spock? Like, is there some sort of, the Beastie Boys were time travelers, or just some stupid answer for that stupid question? Because they keep kind of putting more and more attention on Beastie Boys in this new movie.
Wouldn't they know about Spock? Spock was like a thing the second movie. He was there.
Yeah. No, and I mean, Spock's in this new movie too, but hundreds of years after this album was written. You know?
Right, but I mean, I could write a song right now about something that happened 100 years ago in a book, from a book.
100 years ago, but not future stuff.
Oh, not in the future.
Right. I'm saying like, oh yeah, no, the great wise prophet Adam of Beastie Boys, he knew this was going to happen or something, like some sort of weird explanation. It's not, it shouldn't be important, and it sounds stupid, but in the new movie, there's a lot of like, hey, Beastie Boys. And I felt it was like, all right, at this point, you've put too much like attention over here. I almost want some sort of like justification for how you have that. Or is it just as simple as like, yeah, Hello Nasty never came out. That album never happened because it's always earlier material. So it's like, yeah, tragically in this alternate universe, there's only like 2 Beastie Boys albums, but that's fine because that's all our favorites. Anyway, it would make more sense maybe if you like, just how much they hang their hat on some of that stuff is why I kind of just can't get over, like, but that doesn't make sense. Mr. Spock's right there. How does he have a song about him that was written 200 years before he was born? Like, what? It's dumb, but it's, nerd dumb. It's like, who would win a fight? Who would win a race? Flash versus Superman. Doesn't matter, but I don't know. I need answers.
Right.
So
okay.
It's just kind of one of those open question things. I don't know. Yeah. Other than sci-fi tinge stuff, Futurama, No Man's Sky, Star Trek. It's just been a lot of sci-fi around here, so feels good. I don't know.
Sci-fi is good though.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting into with it generally.
Spaceships and flying around.
I mean, yeah, space specifically. Usually.
I guess that's a tone thing. I might as well just kind of state as well as everybody probably about No Man's Sky. Like, it's refreshing that it isn't dystopia sci-fi stuff because there's plenty of that.
There's a lot of that. Yeah.
It's kind of just like, yeah, just exploring. Just like the future is great and full of like freedom of movement. And sure, there's bad guys, but there's kind of just, hunting for valuable stuff that's going to happen in the future too. But it just kind of ancient aliens have already charted out huge swaths of like livable planets, and just go look at it because it's kind of awe-inspiring in a way. So I don't know. It's got a kind of twinkle in its eye or something. It's got something kind of upbeat about it that I enjoy as well. So, and plenty of podcasts. The thing I'm doing is, I don't know if it's a smart idea or not, but 2010, right? How we've kind of said that was a big year for video games.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I feel it's like, well, 1998 got beat. 2010 is the new year to cite. Like, it was that significant. I'm going through all of 2010's bombcasts, just kind of revisiting that timeline of when those came out and how that was kind of, that information was given to me kind of at that time. Because I felt like that year was just kind of, I played everything, like all sorts of stuff, because it was just kind of available. And
did you feel obligated to because of TDP? Or were you just like in the mode?
I think it just coincided really well for that year anyway. Because it was just kind of like, I am sincerely interested in this, and it also happens to be new and popular. So it's just like, hell yeah, I'm getting Red Dead Redemption. Oh, hey, this turned out to be great. Like Alan Wake, right out at the beginning of the year, Darksiders and Bayonetta, that kind of stuff. Like, I had interest in all of those things, and it just happened to be that was the best stuff that was going on game-wise that year. So it was just kind of this weird, like,
the stars aligned
of stuff. Yeah,
basically.
It just kind of worked out. So just kind of going back to kind of how that stuff all happened, that year, week by week, and also just to have something to accompany me while I'm standing alone on some weird alien moon or whatever.
Yeah.
It's, it's a good game for that. So I that's kind of how I've been measuring the time though. Cause like these ones are each about 2 hours. It's just like, oh shit, that's another episode. I think I've been playing for 8 hours or something. I should probably, I don't know. Like there's probably a clock in there somewhere maybe, but I don't know. I've put a lot of time, and plan to put more. So I'm sure the kind of the curiosity will break at some point. Like it'll just be like, okay, I've got a lot of good stuff now. Might as well just keep flying on or whatever. Like there might be kind of an indifference to some of the planets and stuff at some point. But right now, I'm still really, really happy with everything I'm seeing. So that's
well, as long as you keep making goals for what you want to do in the game, you can make it last forever. Yeah,
I guess. Like, there's been little, like, kind of wrinkles of remembering some details about how Mass Effect 1 handled different planets in terms of just kind of, well, the sky's different, but the same basic components are the same. Like, there's a little bit of that, but it's on such a more open kind of free range way of doing it that it doesn't quite feel as static. But space stations, I will say, feel kind of almost as like cookie cutter as those bunkers you'd be. Do you remember Mass Effect 1? How it would be like any side quest would essentially be go to the one building that exists and
it's like one of 5 different layouts.
Yeah, like either this door's closed or this door's closed, or it has a hallway here or here, like that kind of thing. This has like a sort of similar, like there's a docking bay and 2 doors, and there's stuff in either side or whatever, but it's essentially going to be one of these different ways. That's true, but there's kind of little things that are kind of like, well, which kind of alien race is going to be here? What kind of materials are going to be available to purchase? Like different dudes just kind of parking there. So your trading possibilities, like there still seems to be a pretty wide possibility space. So it's not bumming me out too much, but I will acknowledge that, I guess, just that it's like, it's 9 years later, it's another sci-fi themed game. So maybe that's why the point of comparison is there in my head. But, yeah, it's got a few kind of like, oh, this is finite, you know, these 15 people or whatever didn't create the most elaborate thing that could ever be, but it's still a big step, I feel. So I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
I've been working.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A whole hell of a lot. I'm a little excited because I got an email today saying that I got a code for the N++ beta. So I'll be playing that. Did you like N+?
I didn't play a lot of it. I know it's like you're a ninja and you're collecting gold, and it was kind of a hardcore platformer, right?
Yeah.
So, and like wall jumping and all that kind of stuff. Like I knew it was like I knew it had appeal, and I think I played a bit of it on 360. But I don't know if I ever got the full game. Actually, I might have just played the demo and just been like, yeah, I'm okay. I don't want to jump around. Cool. But if you want to jump around, I'm assuming. I kind of thought the sequel already came out, but
no, it's not even out yet.
Okay.
So I'm excited to try that. That's pretty cool. I got my Uplay working again the other night, so I played some Rainbow Six Siege. That game's still fun.
It's kind of, the thing is, it's very detailed, small environments, right? So you can shoot through walls and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I mean, I haven't touched it ever, so I'm just kind of trying to.
Yeah, no.
What is the hook of this game? And I mean, that is my understanding.
You pretty much got it. So like, there's a decent amount of maps now because they did a big update that added 2 new characters or operators, I guess they're called in this game, and another map. But the thing that's fun about the maps is that even though it's essentially just like a different objective type team deathmatch every time, the way you approach like your attack or your defense can change every time depending on like what operators you have, obviously, like what different perks you have and stuff like that. But if you're attacking, like maybe you know they're in this area and you're just like, I'm gonna shoot through this floor instead, then just like between the steel girders or whatever, you can just like make out somebody's head and pop them from like above or whatever. Like every time, even just watching it, it's pretty fun because of the different ways you can approach a situation or like different angles and stuff. So it's cool.
That does sound kind of like a neat, like tactical consideration that exists in the real world.
Yeah.
That isn't often represented in video games. It's just like, well, it's just drywall. Why wouldn't we break through there or shoot that guy through there? Like, there's no reason to walk through that door.
Exactly.
But in
and
games
this game,
for a long time, it's just like, no, everything's made of indestructible concrete. And
yeah.
It's just kind of...
And in this game, there are still, like, some places in, say, like, a basement or whatever. They're obviously built up with concrete and, like, stone slabs and stuff. So, like, can't break through those. But, like, there's a wall there, and, like, I have this breaching charge or even a grenade. I'm just gonna blow up that whole wall.
That sounds cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, is it taxing on systems because of all that stuff, or the environment's pretty small, so it doesn't...
You know, I would have thought it'd be taxing on systems. Like, I've had a few problems with it here and there when I try to stream it and whatnot, but I'm pretty sure that's more of, like, my streaming setup than the game. Because, like, I've played with a few people who play on, like, kind of older, crappier systems, and, like, they just turn it down, like, turn down the, like, I don't know, physics? Like, I don't know what you turn down in that game. I
assume it would be physics stuff, yeah.
Yeah, the physics stuff, or like the particle effects and stuff like that. They turn it down to low and they're still playing totally fine. So the nice thing about Ubisoft is that because they're a big development company, they have the money to put into like people to just optimize for like months before it comes out. It's one of those things that I do like about the EAs and the Activisions and Ubisofts and stuff, is that they usually put out a pretty solid, polished product that can run on a lot of stuff. Like for PC specifically. For console, it doesn't matter at all because they all have to work in the same infrastructure. But for PC, AAAs are usually pretty good about reaching as many people in the demographic as they can. So I appreciate that. But yeah, it plays fine. That game, changes significantly every time they add new operators because there's new like things you have to watch out for. Like one of the updates from a few months ago now, the big update before this update where they added 2 new operators. One of them was literally just like a defender chick who throws like cameras around. Like they're little like cameras that you can place wherever you want. They just stick to walls and shit. Okay. So it used to be that, like, if you were attacking, you would know where all the cameras were on the level, because you've played this level 100 times, and those don't randomly generate, weirdly enough. I think they should, but they don't. So, like, when you're attacking and you played for a while, it's just, like, second nature to when, oh, I'm in this area, you look up this corner, and there's a camera, and you shoot it out, so, like, the defenders can't see what you're doing. She added a whole new, like, layer of, like, I don't know where the fuck they're looking at me from. Like, I keep getting tagged. I don't know where this camera is, because she could just, like, throw it in a bush or something.
Okay, so it adds kind of paranoia to the...
It's pretty cool.
Team.
Yeah,
okay.
Like, it adds that thing that they kind of took away by their game being out for a long time and not procedurally generating where the cameras are. It takes out the familiarity of the system, basically. And then, who else did they add in that patch? A dude who has, like, a shield he can put onto his rifle for like to cover up his like face area when he's aiming down the sights. Primarily his thing is that like as an attacker you would be like break a window or like a boarded up area, and then you would like peek in with him, and even if they shot you, you wouldn't get headshot right away because he had the shield on. So like that was cool. It made it hard for the first like couple weeks until people kind of understood how to play against him. Like he felt overpowered even though he wasn't. Like yeah, so every time they add new people, they add this weird dynamic to it. The new characters, they're both Brazilian. Is it storming at your house?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at that. It's not at your place. We're in the same general quadrant.
Heard a little bit of rain a little bit ago, but man, that thunder just like scared me a little bit.
No, it's definitely coming down out there quite a bit. But
cool.
I was kind of worried if that's picking up a lot, but
no, it's noticeable, but it's fine.
The water fell from the sky.
I like the sound of dripping rain, so whatever.
There you go, soothing.
But no, like they're Brazilian operatives, so the one guy, the attacker, has like a crossbow with different bolts. Like, it's weird. So one version of the bolts like makes this big smoke cloud that's really hard to like see through if you're in it, and like completely obscures vision from like if you're looking in that area. So it's a tactical thing. The other bolt is just straight up like a napalm bolt, which just like the area it blows up in or hits just goes like on fire, and anybody caught in it just like die quickly. So that's weird because there hasn't been a character that was basically Hawkeye before.
Okay.
And the other character has this perk that makes her like completely silent when she's running. She's a defender, and like her thing is that she's like a silent assassin sort of thing. So when she's like, when you activate it, you have like 20 seconds or whatever where your footsteps and anything cannot be heard. And her thing is when you down a person, because in this game, when you like get killed, sometimes you don't die right away unless it's a headshot. You'll go down and you can be picked back up or like killed after or whatever. When you down a person with her, you can go up to them and quote unquote interrogate them. And basically you just like hold a knife up to their throat and just like make them tell you where everyone on their team is. And then everybody on your team will be able to see exactly where everyone else is for a short period of time. Then you slice their throat. It's weird. It's a weird thing that I don't know. I thought it was like dumb before, but then I played a game last night with a few people and a dude did that. And then like I saw where the last guy was hiding and then just like shot in that area until he died and we won. Like I thought it was dope. So
I guess I'm a little like, pardon my ignorance about the game. Like, is it humans versus humans, or is it terrorist hunt essentially? Like
there is terrorist hunt mode.
Okay.
But I like to play the multiplayer humans versus humans.
Because the way you were talking about how the cameras and stuff work, that made it sound like a person was doing that and hiding them in various places.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So it's terrorist team versus operators, or
I mean, essentially they split them up into attackers and defenders.
Okay.
So like
and you're both kind of decked out military dudes, or
that's kind of the weird
guys.
That's kind of the weird thing where like every quote unquote operation has like a defender and attacker, like kind of special class. So like the FBI have like Ash, I think, is the attacker, and I can't remember who the FBI defender is, but it's weird that they're kind of pit against each other.
Yeah.
They're the same organization.
Like, is this just like a training game, or are you killing each other? Like,
yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
So wait, there's essentially torture in the game now? Like it sounded like?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. That's a little crazy, but alright.
That's kind of weird.
Getting intel.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like the mechanic is she does this thing to like make everybody on the map visible.
Yeah.
Basically, they just had to put like a coding on what happens, and that's what they went with, I guess.
It's kind of like Metal Gear or something, just threatening with a knife.
Yeah. Where is he? That's Batman. My bad.
Yeah.
Metal Gear, Batman, same thing.
I'm trying to remember, like, yeah, it's essentially the same basic thing, though. Like, tell me, or whatever. And it's just like, here's my dog tags, I don't know. It's like, okay, good. That's all I wanted. And then I just knock them out. I rarely slit throats because it just seems so mean. But, yeah. Video games.
Yep.
Violence.
Anyway.
So what drew you, like, so these new operators kind of what drew you back? They've been supporting the game for quite a while then? Like,
yeah, so when I got the game, I got pretty into it for a while, and then I bought the like year season pass or whatever. It's so what happens is that before the new operators come out to like everybody, people that like bought the season pass get a week to kind of play with them for a first sort of thing, and then people can buy them with like in-game currency after that. And I'm the type of person that where I'm just like, I don't have the time to grind out 25,000 credits or whatever. like to buy this one operator, so I'll just give you the like $20 now because the season pass was on like crazy discount sale. So I'm like, I'll buy this now, and I just won't have to worry about this ever. Like, I'll just have these operators when they come out.
Okay.
So yeah, I basically installed the patch and then was like, I'm going to try these operators out now because I can, and did. So the season pass for them worked that way, where I felt like I'm getting value because I can just pop in and try the new thing and like not have to worry about like, oh, but I only have 10,000 credits and one of these operators is like 25,000.
Just kind of remove that kind of pressure to play it more than you want to. Just
right,
kinda,
exactly.
Yeah. This came out a while ago, though, right? Like last summer, or
no? It came out in like the end of 2014, I think.
Was it really that long ago?
Or was it 2015? It was the like end of a year for sure. It might have been 2015.
Well, if it's 2015, then that's not that long ago. It's like 10 months or something. Which sounds feasible.
Yeah.
Support, yeah. But I guess I'm kind of just like, I know the next big Tom Clancy thing was The Division. Did you kind of...
I did play The Division.
Like you're done with that one, though?
Yeah, I felt like I got my money's worth for getting it for 1 cent, so...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
At least that was honored, because a lot of the time...
It's not, yeah.
They back out. It's just like, no, we don't want to take a loss on Fallout 4. You're crazy. It's just like, come on. You're ZeniMax. Give me the game. You screwed up. Give me the game.
The reason why I feel like it was honored, though, is because of so many people that had their, like, hand in the pot for that, for those codes. So, to reiterate for anybody who might, like, be wondering what I mean, basically, there was a mistake on Newegg that was selling NVIDIA codes for the Division, for like 1 cent by accident because of a typo or something. So
like just a decimal place thing or something, or
yeah. So I think if anybody took the hit, it was NVIDIA. Actually, no, it was probably Newegg because they were probably like the sponsor or whatever, which is why they got those codes from NVIDIA to like sell. So they probably like bought a bunch of those and then sold them accidentally for like negative 1,000%.
Yeah. Well, at least they, took the hit, I guess, or stayed, I don't know, honored it. What is Newegg for, though, really? Isn't it like cables and technical kind of like video cards and things like that? That's their primary bread and butter?
Yeah. They usually give out games with cards. Like when you buy a new video card, you'll get like a thing where it's like, go to this site and choose which of these like 3 hot new titles you want. And it's almost always like Ubisoft products, I've noticed. So I'm sure they're in bed
some
together.
Big promotional deal there, yeah.
Yeah, like it's always Assassin's Creed or Far Cry or like,
Do you have a sense that like The Division still matters? Because it seemed to kind of happen and people were like, yeah, this is kind of like, near future military Destiny or something. And people were way into it for like a month. And then it just seemed to kind of go away. But then there's talk of like, oh yeah, they're making a movie and all this. And it's just like, I don't generally like, you can make whatever movie you want, but that just doesn't seem to be like a shrewd choice. That's not really like a hot property the way you might think it is based on its kind of brief moment in the sun there. That just seems a little weird. Because Assassin's Creed never went away. It's been like a decade of those games coming out. Yeah. So you might as well spend a couple $100 million and have Michael Fassbender run around like whatever. That's just getting the brand to new people. But I don't know about modern military like action game or whatever. Like it's kind of a like sort of apocalyptic premise, right? Like a lot of people die.
Yeah.
At the outset.
Yeah, there was like this thing that happened. There was a terrorist attack on like Black Friday, basically. Mm-hmm. And this is like, you're part of the Division trying to clean it up, basically. With like the riots happening and the terrorists kind of forming little groups and shit like that.
Okay, so society everywhere didn't collapse. It's more just like New York is under siege right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is. There's still civilians in the street, like, asking for help, looking for water and stuff like that. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There's still electricity. Like, there's still, like, Christmas lights here and there and, like, lamps and shit.
Okay. I guess it's weird then that would be kind of like a online game you play in perpetuity. Like, it's just like, we haven't solved this yet. Like, we haven't killed all the bad guys. Like, New York is safe. There's a
lot of people in New York, and yes, there is, like, a story mode campaign.
So there is a point where you're just like, we did it. We saved the day.
Yeah, like, you can... The idea is you play that with friends if you want, like, in co-op. And then if you want the PvP stuff, there's, like, designated areas in New York that are completely under siege.
Like the Dark Zone.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
But the problem with the Division was actually that Ubisoft is really bad at dealing with hackers and exploiters.
Oh, okay.
So it actually got to a point where you needed to have hacks on to be able to just play normally, because people would just, like, kill you.
In that component of the game?
Yeah, so the people... And Ubisoft basically said that they weren't gonna... Like, it would be too hard to fix, so they're not gonna bother or something. Like, there was some weird news articles.
It's just like, yeah, we lost control of it. Like, the anarchists won.
Kind of, like, there was just news articles of them basically saying, like, my bad, please keep playing. And most people said nope and uninstalled.
Yeah, it just kind of seemed to really dominate the conversation for a little period of time. And then, like, that was this year. And I don't know if, like, that's something that's going to bubble up again at Game of the Year conversations, or people just be like, oh, yeah, no, it was okay. Like, it just kind of seemed to come and go. But I don't know. Just hearing that an even older Tom Clancy property is more interesting now than the big hot one from this year is kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. Like, Siege is the one. Or it's a purer thing or something. I don't know. I'm putting words in your mouth. It just, yeah.
No, please keep putting words in my mouth.
Yeah. Rainbow Six Siege is way better than The Division. Idris Elba is awesome because he was in those commercials.
Sure.
That's the other thing I know about that game is just him talking and walls exploding and slow motion and all this weirdness. And it's just, okay. I don't know. Oh, I guess since I brought up his name, I watched one more episode of The Wire, season 3, but I haven't gotten to the thing yet, apparently. But
that
I'm almost there at the end of the season. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm, like, writing off the show. I think I'm just kind of...
You're in a lull.
I was a little weirded out, though, by, like, how much I enjoyed season 2, and then season 3 doesn't really follow up on season 2, and a lot of stuff seems to, like, a lot of consensus out there seems to be it was the weird, like, black sheep season. I was like, what are you talking about? I loved all of that stuff. So it was just kind of...
And this is why the internet's not good for Nathan, because it made him question if he likes this thing.
It's like, I don't know if we're talking about the same show then, because I really like the one where Amy Ryan was in it, and it was kind of this really focused cop, like, mystery that was being solved over the course of a whole season, and it kind of reminded me of The French Connection, but it was like a 12-hour version of it, and it was really cool. And it also had to do with freight, which is weirdly relevant to my life. So that was an extra icing on the cake. And yeah, just all those smugglers and all those criminals don't really seem to be a factor in season 3. So I'm hoping season 4 and 5 at least, like, consider that stuff again at some point. Like, it factors in again. But I guess I'll find out gradually. There's no real time pressure. The show's over. So
right. Yeah.
Just as I want to watch more of it.
And also, actually, this is a good thing for you because, you stay away from, like, socials and, like, internet stuff for the most part.
Yeah.
Spoilers are kind of going to be a thing that's hard for you to come by.
For an old show? Yeah, that's true.
Like in social media, you could just have somebody that's like, well, this happens, like, ruin it for you right away.
Like, if I start posting about, like, man, The Wire's really great. It's like, oh, I can't wait until this happens to Omar or whatever. It's like, shut up!
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
like,
exactly.
It came out 8 years ago. You should know. It's like, well, fine. But I still feel I know a little too much just because I like IMDb too much. Like
Right.
I'd go on that website. So if you just kind of like read about an actor and then see when they were on a show, you can kind of infer, oh, they were only on that show up until this year. Uh-oh, something's going to happen. But I don't know what or when or why. So there's still a lot of things to see happen. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of as far as I can recall the media. Other than like reading Kurosawa's book on a daily basis and that kind of just stirring up World War II era like Japan thoughts. But I guess it's sort of topical because I think last week was the anniversary of the Hiroshima bombing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of pertinent to right now, but I don't know. I'm not like, it's a conflict that's over. Like, there's just kind of a lot of things I guess I just don't know that I knew about World War II in terms of just how okay with civilian bombing America was. Seems really crazy to me now because I didn't really like, it's like the narrative when you're a kid is like, oh, well, Japan sucker punched them at Pearl Harbor, so we kicked their ass or whatever, like that kind of thing. But then you're just like, well, wait, but that was a military base. That was like a naval base. That was just a city full of people, like fishermen.
Yeah. No, it's fucked up.
What the fuck happened? Like, I don't know. It's been a little like that, and I will invoke a potentially depressing topic, but recently we watched Grave of the Fireflies.
No, I couldn't get past like 20 minutes in it.
Oh, you just kind of, I see where this is going. I don't want to watch this. Yeah, okay. You were right. I didn't really know much about that movie other than, this is a really well-regarded movie. Like, it's really high ranked on IMDb.
You didn't even know that it was depressing?
I knew it was supposed to be depressing. So it was a bit of a like, all right, like this is going to be a movie, like this is going to be a bit of an emotional experience probably. Like, I felt bad because like I wasn't sure I wanted to watch it by myself because like I need somebody to talk through the movie after if it's something really kind of like emotionally rich or whatever. Like it really helps that. So I basically like I was kind of just like Brittany didn't really want to watch it that day because she more so knew what she was in for. But I don't know. I ended up kind of like, oh come on, like we need to watch it. And then, because it has to go back to the library scene or whatever. And I was just like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, this is an incredibly downbeat movie. Like, akin to Holocaust movies and stuff. Like, just really, morose subject matter.
We never did the Holocaust.
We have yet to do that. It's true. I don't know, like, I haven't seen either film in quite a while now. But we keep saying that. I think every time it comes up, it's like,
what were the two films again? Like, one was Schindler's List.
One was Schindler's List, and the other was The Pianist, the Roman Polanski movie.
Right, yeah.
And I don't know what we're really going to say about them. I guess just compare and contrast or whatever. Just like, I think this one's better. This one's really sad. I like the scene with the pickle can.
Are there better Holocaust... This is a weird thing to say. Are there better Holocaust movies out there?
Well, the grand... one of them all, I believe, would be Children of the Shoah, which is like an 8-hour documentary about it. I'm told it's like the most comprehensive look at it that has ever happened. But
I don't know if, like, I don't want documentaries. Like, I don't think that counts because then I'll just
like, if the main focus of the conversation is like dramatizing it and that sort of thing, I don't know that any other one has really ranked in the same kind of category.
I know, like, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas got a lot of talk when that came out.
Yeah.
But it didn't stand up,
it didn't really, like, turn heads at award season or whatever. Like, The Reader, Kate Winslet won an Oscar for it, and it's kind of more so about the judgments after the fact.
Yeah.
Like, trying people much later for crimes that happened then. But I don't know. I don't think that really is in the same category either of just kind of trying to grapple with or depict what happened. I guess just to be clear what Grave of the Fireflies is kind of about, it's basically like kids in Japan starving during that period. So some of the stuff Kurosawa's been alluding to in his kind of journals or whatever is also about like, yeah, there just wasn't much food. Like I went to my dad's house and he gave me a big bag of rice and was just like, no, dude, it's okay. Like it's really bad out there. This kind of thing. Like it's just like, okay, this like supply, like food supply, all this kind of stuff got really, really bad. And Japan has a very dense population. So just people weren't really able to look out for each other. And it's just kind of like really shitty and tragic what happens in Grave of the Fireflies. And the worst part for me, the worst part that just kind of made it all kind of like, oh fuck. Like it was after the movie. Cause I was just like, all right, well, you know, that was pretty rough, but like, you know, at least it's just a movie or whatever. And it's just like, oh no, it's based on a real thing that happened to a real dude. And like, it actually, like, the worst parts of what actually happened were the things that happened. Like, so it's just like, oh, great. Okay. Well, how about that? Yeah, I don't know. It's not like, it's a weird thing where it's like a movie that's like very tragic and sad. It's hard to say like, oh, that's a great movie. Like, cause it's not a fun experience at all. Like in talking through it, we were kind of talking about Holocaust movies and like 12 Years a Slave as just being like, these are like grueling experiences in movies that you can have. And they might kind of help you with like empathy and kind of just seeing another side of a conflict or just kind of, you know, broadening your horizons or something, but they're not fun at all. Like they're not like pop that one in, you know, check out this movie. So it depends what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Like it can be either like incredible or kind of the worst. And the weird thing, like reading about the history of it, it was apparently originally supposed to be like a double feature with My Neighbor Totoro, with Totoro playing first.
That's hilarious. Wow. All right.
So what ended up happening was like people would see My Neighbor Totoro and they'd be like, let's get out of here because we feel so happy right now because we just saw a crazy cat bus and this big weird creature and it was just a great time. Why would we watch a super depressing like meditation on starvation? Let's go home. Like, so that movie kind of didn't have a big reputation for a while because a lot of people didn't see it. But it kind of grew over the years and stuff and became a Studio Ghibli kind of classic in its own way. But that is one of the heaviest, maybe the heaviest entry in their catalog of films that I've ever seen.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Like somewhat recently, we also watched like the same director did Pom Poko, which is the crazy Tanuki movie.
Yeah, I was actually recommended to watch that.
I generally
learning Japanese because it's pretty easy to understand.
I guess, yeah, because they're kind of kid-centric. Like, so there's like a kind of easy to follow. Like, there's a lot of narration in that movie. It's almost, I kind of really like the general structure of the movie. It's almost like a documentary type style about this insane thing that never happened. Well,
they want to be people, right? They disguise themselves as people.
They're able to.
Yeah.
They're magical tanuki, like raccoons that can transform. And it's sort of more about like the encroachment of man on nature kind of thing. Like they're going to develop this area and all these raccoons live there. So they're kind of trying to terrorize the humans away from the construction sites and stuff and trying to prevent it from happening and just kind of grappling with the development of Japan stuff. So there's stuff that is based on history in that movie in terms of just when like Tokyo expanded and various developments that happened and whatever, but then the framework of these crazy creatures and them dealing with it. Like there's some absolutely delightful stuff in that movie. I just felt it's a little like weird in the last half hour. Like it's just kind of keeps going for a while. It almost seems like there's one extra leg to that movie or something that it just doesn't land especially well, but it's like a full 2-hour movie and like 80 minutes of it are transcendent. And then it kind of just keeps going. That's kind of how I felt about it, but it's still, I still felt pretty positive about it.
Cool.
Very different though. Like,
yeah,
a lot easier to enjoy. So
cool.
Depressing Japan stuff, but yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Bombing cities. What the hell, America? Why'd you do that 71 years ago? Like it's, water under the bridge.
Yeah.
And Japan has, developed with that in their history and done really well. So it's, it's just odd. It was just kind of like that kind of who's the bad guy, who's the good guy in any conflict. Like some really weird decisions were made that I'm not sure I've really looked into. Not even just the ultimate bombing, like the nuclear bombing, like just kind of the firebombing of cities. Like, it's just like, why would you do that? Like, even in some of Kurosawa's stuff, like it's like the temple he was married at burnt down the next day because fire bombings. So it's just kind of like, and when we were there, it was like, oh, this is actually a reconstruction. Like, it burnt down and they rebuilt it in the 50s. So this looks like the thing, but it's actually
not.
only 60 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, oh, weird. And that was a pretty widespread thing. Like, if you read a plaque, it'll kind of be like, yeah, this was rebuilt. Because we really like wood architecture. And yeah.
Doesn't do so well against bombs, fire.
Yeah.
Stuff of man-made creation to destroy.
Just an extra wrinkle to that conflict now that I've kind of, like, they're an Axis power, like, they're bad guys. But it's just like, no, they're not, really. Like, there's something here, too. Like, I don't know. It's hard to really say where sympathies should be, but it's just, garbage that happened a long time ago. So, anyway, I'll stop meandering about it. So Rainbow Six Siege.
Right. The new atrocity.
Warfare and conflicts and stuff. That's, sort of...
That's kind of the theme of this week.
I guess, now that I'm just... So, is there any kind... Like, Counter-Strike at least has the weird bare justification of, like, they took hostages. Or, like, they're gonna blow up this thing.
Yeah,
What is it the bad guys, like, the defenders are doing that needs to be stopped?
Oh, they disagree about how good a video game should be received on the internet.
Oh, okay. So the culture wars that are going to be coming.
Right. No, I mean, it's the same stuff. There's a mode where there's bombs set up and you have to disarm them as the attackers, and defenders are like, no, get away from my bomb or whatever, and try to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a mode where there's a hostage that has been taken, and you're like... The weird thing is that it's kind of ambiguous as to who the bad guy really is, because with a hostage specifically, it could be like the defenders are defending people trying to kill the hostage.
Okay.
But the attackers are trying to kill the defenders, right, to get the hostage and rescue him. Like, that's actually what's going on, because if as an attacker you kill the hostage, the defenders automatically win because your mission failed.
Because you were supposed to rescue that guy,
right?
Not assassinate him.
And then the same goes for the opposite. That's why there's a weird ambiguous nature to it, where if you're the defender and you kill the hostage, the attackers win, like they were trying to kill him. It's weird, right?
Wait. So if the defenders kill their own hostages, the attackers win?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because your mission is to defend.
Yeah. Because it's like, well, you're supposed to defend that guy. But why wouldn't I just kill him? Because we would win then, right?
Unless you're defending them from the attackers. So each side,
that's weird. It's like victory is more like, well, what you wanted to happen didn't happen, so you lose, you fail.
Well, the weird thing is that it accidentally is super profound in just like showing how villains think that they're doing things the right way, because like in the same match, the attackers think they're trying to rescue this hostage, but the defenders think they're trying to protect him.
Mm-hmm. So they both have their own like justified means as to why they're doing what they're doing.
Right.
So they are forever in conflict.
Which basically makes sense, like, as to why there'd be FBI on the like separate sides of the line.
There. Yeah. It's like the CIA is gone weird. They're trying to kill this guy, or I don't know.
Yeah, but like it gets a little less ambiguous when like, oh, the defenders are trying to like keep this bomb set up.
Yeah,
the bomb.
There's usually not good reasons for bombing things.
No, especially these bombs that you see are huge.
Okay.
Yeah, they're obviously the bad guys here. Yeah, it's weird. That's a weird game.
That sounds potentially kind of fun, though.
It is fun. Do you have any interest in like Playing games online ever?
Not
really?
usually. Like, I mean, with Battlefront, I got into it for a while, but it was kind of just to mute everybody. This is just my Star Wars playground. Like, I don't want to have team stuff, complicating it or whatever. So,
Sure.
Or like Rocket League a bit, just kind of messing around, but never on like the ranked servers really. Cause
what about Overwatch?
I haven't tried it as of yet, and I'm not sure I'm that interested because I never got into TF2 ever. I just didn't really find it that interesting. So,
what if I told you that right now in Overwatch there's a mode called Lucio Ball where you're basically just playing Rocket League?
I've heard that there's some sort of weird are you rollerblading or what?
Lucio is like a rollerblading DJ guy that listens to music.
Okay.
Like he's out of like Jet Set Radio, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it literally just you're trying to get a ball on a goal?
Yep.
Like it's
3v3. There's a ball. Your main attack turns into a punch. So you either punch it like a beach ball, or your other attack is the same as it is in a game where it's like this sound wave blast that just like pushes pull. So you use that to push the ball or opposing team members away from you, that sort of thing.
Okay. I will say there was kind of a window of time when I was first hearing about the game where it's like, oh, it's only $40. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then every time I saw it on a shelf, I was like, what are you talking about? It's $80. Like, it's an $80 game.
Yeah, for console,
and that's because
the
console. Yeah. Whereas that's where my head was at. I was just like, well, I don't know if my PC can play it or not. Like, I don't really keep up with Battle.net and all this, so I don't know if that's where I want to play it. If it's just on a console, that's fine. $40 sounds okay. But then it was like that, like, miscommunication of just, no, it isn't. It's always full price whenever I see it. And it's like, well, that's the Origins Edition, and it's the only one you can get on the console.
On console, yeah.
All right, I guess
it's also the only one you can get if you buy like a physical PC edition.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
all of the physical editions are. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I paid full price for No Man's Sky, but I just kind of know I want that, whereas I don't know that I want a multiplayer shooter in general. Yeah. So
sure.
I'm not trying to like, oh, this new trend, I don't get it, I'm mad. Like, it's just, okay, I understand a lot of people are having a lot of fun. I got way into Counter-Strike for a while. Like, fun can be had, but I'm just not in the market for it right now.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Let me think. I don't think so, actually. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel kind of up to date.
So you're good?
Happenings. No new movies have really been looked at. Right. I still feel kind of about some recent ones, but that's not really educated opinions. So
yeah, it's just gut reaction.
Sure, it's just like, I don't want that. It's like, but I don't really need to rain on parades about it. Like, I could conceive of a reality where I'd want to see a new Batman property. Like, I like those Arkham games.
Yeah,
so I do like Batman.
What about that Telltale Batman game?
I don't know. Like,
yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, it's not something I'm like, oh, I definitely want to see what's happening there. It's just like, no, I'm not really in the mood for a Batman mystery right now, or whatever happens in that. So it's good to hear, I guess, that it's fine and people are having a decent time. But I'm not really, don't need to give Telltale any help now. They've gotten a lot of big gigs and they're a lot bigger than they were when I saw the Strong Bad Game panel at PAX 08. Like, they're doing a lot stronger now. They don't need the fan support in the same way. Nope. So they're fine.
Nope. They have multiple actual company supports now backing them.
Yeah. So good for them, but I'm not really feeling fiending for the new one. Like, all those things seem to just end up as like part of some bundle eventually in the future. So if it turns out it's like if people are saying like, no, this was a really significant piece of Batman content, like the way people talk about The Dark Knight Rises, that Frank Miller comic book, this is like that good. It's like, oh shit, okay, well, good thing I got it for $4 on the Humble Bundle when
exactly.
Like it'll be like, oh, I guess I'll check that out. I'll crack that open one day. Like it's fine, but I don't need to be in that zeitgeist. Where I guess I feel like I did feel the need to be in on the No Man's Sky zeitgeist though, so I'm still susceptible to this thing.
But it wasn't because of all the stuff you read on the internet. I think more like
do you want a spaceship?
It just looked cool.
Yeah, I always wanted a spaceship. Oh, okay, we got spaceships in this. Like it was a pretty simple pitch for that. So
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I guess that's all I got there. I don't know if so Rainbow Six, that was kind of the media this week for you?
I mean, for the most part, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right.